So, topic of the hour. I'm Shannon Hall. I'm the Best Choice Realty's operations manager. I am joined here today with Lindsey Lundholm from Sterling Inspections, and she wants to talk about momentum as we kind of end the end of the year. Lindsey, if you don't mind, just kind of give us a little introduction of who you are, where you come from in the industry, that sort of thing, your background, and we can kind of go from there. How does that sound?
Sounds good. Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
Like you said, I'm the owner of Sterling Inspection Group, and so my background for the last 15 years has been helping build a company, uh, home inspections. So I've been in the real estate space for a while. Before that, I was in property management and kind of the marketing side of things at first, and then just running that whole operation. So building a business is something that it's my favorite thing, and I love to teach concepts around building a business. And that's why this is really fun for me to join and be invited to talk with all of you business owners tonight. So every year, we wrap up the end of the year Q4, and the conversation turns often to business planning and thinking about the year ahead. And this is just kind of one of my favorite parts of every single year. And we're kind of nearing the end of October, but we still have, I think, 64 days left of the year. And if I could leave you with anything, it is that you can be 64 days ahead if we start right now on 2025. So I wanted to share just a couple tools that have been helpful for me in our business and that I've seen work really well um, in the real estate space. So you have maybe had a really successful year. You could be running out of steam. Maybe it's been a challenging year and you're feeling, oh, like I need a break. I mean, I don't know where you fall into that, but I felt both, right? We often in business feel both. We have the highs and we have the lows. And we just need that little oomph sometimes at the end of the year. And so that's what I want to talk about today. I would love comments. I'd love participation if you'd like to. I don't know if I can. Let's see here. Let's scroll over so I can see any faces that are on. If you're not on, then I'll just share the things that I've learned. Um, if you think about dominoes, right? Have you ever played dominoes where you stack them up and then you tip one over and it, goes on down the line? Well, momentum is a lot like that, right? We stack up our dominoes, and the one step we take here affects the next thing, affects the next thing. And pretty soon maybe you've created a really cool design with your dominoes, but the activities you've done at the beginning really impact, the end. And I like to think about dominoes in that what activities can we be doing to set ourselves up for next quarter one, really the beginning of the year. In real estate, sometimes we feel like going into the holidays, things slow down a little bit. And, that may be true to some degree, depending on, where you are. And we're kind of in this very unique market. I feel like we've all been navigating something new this year where we haven't seen a year look like this. So we could have an unexpectedly very busy winter. But what I know to be true is that when I have put in certain efforts, then we've seen the return on that. And I will say, for the first time, believe it or not, Sterling Inspection Group was profitable in a January and a February. That might sound crazy, but often we don't see January and February look the best on our 12-month cycle. And so I know that it's a direct result of some activities that we did the previous year. So I want to kind of repeat that, and hopefully like we're going to be seeing good things next year as well. So the last 60 days of the year, we've got 2 months left. And I think by doing a couple of things, it's going to really help you. So this is where I'm going to get very specific. You may apply different numbers to you, but I'm going to go with these numbers. I'm going to suggest that you connect with your sphere, right? Your circle of influence. And I'm going to suggest that you dial in your VIP list. 40 people that you know really well and that maybe refer business to you often. If you don't have a VIP list, I would suggest that you create one. And your list might look a little different. Maybe you're like, I don't have 40 VIPs, but I bet if you sat and thought about the people that you know, it's going to be friends, it's going to be family, it's going to be business relationships that you have. It might be each other, right? You may refer business back and forth within Best Choice and dial in those 40 contacts that you might consider to be your top referral partners. My second tip is that you look at your whole database. So the number I'm going to go with is 400. Do you have 400 contacts? Maybe adjust that for your scale and your size. If you have a team or however that looks for you, maybe it's 100 in your database. But that you gather those names, the contacts, you dialed them in. So you kind of have these two lists, if you will. And that's really all we got to focus on. We know that I know to be true that like the best business is referrals, right? It's when we get that personal referral that really turns out to be great for listings or buyers, whatever you're working. But those are kind of the two tools that we have used to really increase our business. So building those relationships. Any thoughts on that? Like, does that resonate with you? Does that kind of freak you out?
Not for me.
Not your
But I know
number?
for some agents, it can be very daunting, especially for those
Yeah.
that are new to the industry. It's like, okay, how do I build that database? Maybe I'm
Mhm.
new to the industry. What does that look like? And we had our orientation here today. We do orientations on Monday with all of our new agents, and I had 3 of them that came in, and they needed help specifically with building their database, and they'd never had one before. And so
Yeah.
if you are kind of in that situation where you're like, I don't, I love this idea, but I don't know how to even get to that point where I have 50 people, 100 people. Um, Come in for those classes on Mondays. We do it every Monday, and we can help you at least have something to start with. And it's all about completing it and making contact afterwards. But if you need help with that, please let us know. Candace, did you have a comment? It looks like you unmuted. I just want to make sure.
No, I was gonna say, I mean, that's kind of the work that I'm doing. A lot of the top producers, so we have a top producer mastermind and a couple of mastermind groups, and that is the challenge through the end of the year is get in touch with your database. We've got a few agents that are doing just like 10 calls a week. I mean, that's not bad. Just imagine how many people you can hit between now and the end of the year. Um, and just connect with them, be of contribution. So and it works, and we'll all see the results, in a couple of months.
Yeah, that's so good. So you know that we're always working on this like 60 to 90 day, it could be longer, but the work we're doing now is often that far out for us. So thinking through like, okay, if I need to have work in January, February, March, and I don't want to be wondering where it is, like I got to be doing that work right now. So when you're looking at that database, I did want to start just right at the beginning. Step one is building the database. So maybe you're like, oh, I don't have one, or mine needs a little refresher, right? We always have to be looking at that and kind of grading it and saying, are these the people I want in my database? So the step one would be building it. And it sounds like you have some great training that caters to that very conversation. And how do I even start? Do I look through my contacts in my phone? Who do I know? It could be neighbors and family, friends, people that maybe you are part of like I don't know, a fitness club or any kind of hobby that you have. Who are those people that you interact with? That was a reminder to me, like, oh, I'm not part of a fitness club. Maybe that's what I should be part of, and will benefit from that 2 ways, right? And we'll get a workout in and meet new people. So when you're first starting out and you don't, have maybe a group of people that you are connected with, looking for a group to connect with can help you build your database. So, Candace, would you be willing to share like how you built a database, like maybe one pointer or way you've
Um,
done?
I ha it's been a long time, but when I first started in real estate, I had to sit down and spend some time. It was like, I don't know, probably a month. And it was
Yeah.
just going down like, who do I know? Who is open to hearing from me? Who of my mom's friends? Who did I go to
Yeah.
school with? People that I haven't connected in a long time with, people that I've worked with in the past. That's how I built my database. It was, the people that I've played with, people I've worked with in the past. Um, it was a lot of work too. Sometimes just finding some of them, but social media is a great source to search up names and, find people. And I would actually add one person a day. And I think when I first started in real estate, I think I maybe had 400 friends. I have well over 2,000 now, and that's because I'm still constantly adding to that database. And you never know. It's like you're an insurance agent. My financial advisor, those are people. They've bought houses with me. My insurance agent and my financial advisor purchased homes with me. So it's think outside the box. And think of people that could potentially be a buyer or a seller at some point as well.
Thank you. Yeah, that's so good. You mentioned social media. So that's a good place to start. Like, look at your friends list. Who am I friends with? And could those people be on my database? I assume everybody in real estate's on social media because it's where everyone tends to be. So, um, I always like, I'm sure you've heard this so many times, but don't be the secret agent, right? No one can find you. You need to be on social media where people are. Um, but building your database is step one, and that could take some time. Like you said, it could take a month to be, or, if you're going to really do it fast, maybe take a week and you're like, I'm every single day going to be spending an hour or two on this step, because once you build that step, we can move on, to the second step. For me, the second step is contact them, right? We call them, we could email them, we can text them, kind of depending on who the person is in your database or how your database currently is. If it's one that's established, maybe you're thinking through, okay, how have we like to say, call them, see them, gift them, multifaceted. How can I have a touch point with that person? So depending on where your database is, what kind of contact do you need to make? Is it a phone call to say hi? Maybe it's been a really long time you've never made contact with this person, or because you just met them through social media. Start wherever makes sense for you and just make a point of contact. Introduce yourself. Remind them where you met. I think just making that first contact and having that first conversation is really key, obviously, to get going. Recently, I had this experience where we kind of played a game, and it was like a little bit of a competition. And so I was in a room with several real estate agents, and the challenge was given, you've got 15 minutes, and simply we just had to ask for referrals. So, okay, real estate agents, pick up your phone or send a text, look at social media, and reach out and see how many contacts you can make, in this very short amount of time. And it was amazing the numbers that we were able to come up with just like intentional focus on this one phone call. And it was simply to ask, hey, I'm in a competition and I'm trying to get some referrals. Who do you know that might be interested in having conversation of buying or selling a home? People like responded like that. They were like all for supporting, me or the other individuals because we're friends, in winning this competition. And just referrals were flying like that. So I was like, okay, if we can do that in 15 minutes, what could we be doing, in an hour every day in our own database? So my recommendation, step two, is to just contact them. You're maybe creating an email. You might be sending, we're coming into a season of holidays, and so sometimes we take advantage of that. November is just right around the corner, and we use that time to show gratitude for our database, right? Our referral partners, our friends, our family. And so maybe you're sending a note of gratitude, or you're just making that phone call to tell them how much you appreciate them, that person in your life. And I think that can be really a powerful conversation. It's not, I don't think it would be uncomfortable. I don't know how you feel, but like just to tell someone how grateful you are for them in your life. And then, maybe that conversation will lead to other conversations, but it is a first step. So maybe reaching out to someone you haven't talked to in a long time and just say, hey, it's been a while and I just wanted to say thank you, or whatever that looks like for you. Showing gratitude, I think, can be a really powerful way of connecting with people. So that's step 2. And then I would say step 3 in this like window of time is we do have to ask for business, right? We do need to make the contacts, but we have to ask for it. We have to extend the, hey, who do you know? Or are you, have any plans? However you word and script that. I'm sure that Best Choice has great classes in teaching that. And we can go into whole other conversations on how to have those conversations, but just asking for the referral, asking for the appointment. If you're just trying to set an appointment, that might be a great step 3. I'm going to ask to set the appointment. Can we get together? Could we connect? If people say, can we meet over coffee? Could we go to lunch? Could we go on a walk? Who it is, may dictate the activity that you do. But I would suggest that we look at our database if it's not yet built. And then we can move through those steps with connecting with a lot of people. So that focuses heavily on your database. I want to just refer back to that top 40. It's going to be very similar, right? It's going to be similar to your database, but those top people, if you were to grade your database, you might look at like, hey, who's referring me the most? Who am I the closest to? Who's in my regular sphere? Candace mentioned like my insurance person. Okay, well, if you look at maybe who did your taxes, who's your insurance person, like these people that you give services, they provide services to you. I think that's a really good person to be at your top. Like you want to be working that relationship kind of in a reciprocal way. So maybe they are treated a little differently, those top VIPs, and you might consider a special gift. It could be a special card. It could be a pop by to their place of work or to their home. I'm sure you've done pop bys and how meaningful it is. I've gotten some of those out of the blue, and it was so fun just to be like, oh my goodness, you're on my doorstep. And someone brought me a little treat. And I think that it sometimes feels scary to do that, but I don't know that anybody has been annoyed when I've given a gift, right? Or something just to say thank you. So you might consider doing something special for your top A-list or however you want to grade your database. But it's been a really helpful strategy for many of my business relationships have taught me these principles, and we've started to apply them in our business as well. So those are kind of step 1, step 2, step 3. I know we could spend a lot of time in each of those, and I don't have, hours to talk to you tonight, but I wanted to touch on just how you can build momentum as we near the end of the year. It's so important to not let off the gas pedal. So sometimes we get burnt out and we need a little break. I get that. Building rest into your regular rhythm of business is so important. And so if you're in a place where you're like, oh, I need a breather, that's okay. Just take a rest, but don't stop. And if you can build that system into your business right now, then your beginning of the year, I think, will be so much better. off for you. Rather than when we pause and stop completely, we've got to rebuild all that momentum all over again. And, we really saw this happen in our business. So I just want to share our own experience. We had some really great momentum a few years back, and we were building and building and building. And we did this with our team on Friday. And I said, and then we had this big disruption in 2020, and it kind of threw everything off kilter, right? And we got out of the habit and out of this momentum building, and it drastically affected our business. Where we were growing, 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 we were going down and going down. And we're like, what's happening here? We did have some wild things in those years. I know real estate got a little bananas, and there was waivings of inspections. So that affected us. But what I recognize is that there were some key steps that weren't happening. And once we put those back into place, the building of relationships and the staying in front of people and connecting on a consistent basis, we have now seen the growth start. We're kind of turning that ship around. And I'm so happy to see that our numbers this year are less down than they were like the previous years, because we want to go back to that place of building. So in a very personal way, we've seen the effects of when that funnel gets turned off, so to say. Like, we're not pouring into our pipeline of business, then it really makes a big difference. If you have seen a pause in your business, maybe trace back, what were the activities I was doing the last 3 months? What could have impacted this slowdown in my business? And you might find that it has to do with, hey, I'm not doing the number one thing I've got to be doing, which is lead generation. So that we found that to be true. I think I had someone teach me once, like, we have no other problems when we unless we lead. I can't remember how they said it, but lead generation is really the number one thing we've got to be doing. We don't have problems with our systems and all the other things that we want to do until we actually have business to service. So we have to have the business there, and then we can work on the stuff afterwards. So we had to recalibrate and focus on how business comes in, and then we could really improve our service to those that we're serving. So I just wanted to share those things as we head towards the end of the year with everyone. I have a second little part that doesn't fit that theme, and I wanted to hit it too if I have time. Let me just get a feel for like where we're at with time here. We have a couple more minutes, or time for questions, or what would you say?
Yeah, I think it's helpful too to hear this right at this time of year. I think a lot of people wait until January to start thinking about their business and business planning and things like that. And sometimes by the time January hits, it's too late. So, starting early and starting now, is how we can avoid some of those valleys that can come in the business. And Lindsay's not wrong. It starts with kind of taking a look at, okay, what do we have going on right now? What can we be doing to make sure, to maintain our status of being top of mind for people? I know Candace and I both do this, but we have whiteboards. We're very visual people where, that VIP list is great. And sometimes for me, I look at as I need a wish list of people that I think will buy and sell within the next, I need to see their names every day. And, that in essence is kind of a VIP list in its way, where it's like, I need to make sure I maintain contact with these people because they will be doing something. I think Tristan does like hot orange, like he does red, orange, green. I mean, so every agent kind of has a system for it, but kind of segmenting your group of people into smaller chunks makes it a lot more palatable, and also keeps it more focused too. Yeah. Let's see. Candace, did you have anything to add to that? I suppose
No,
you
this
did.
is great. This is kind of obviously this is up my alley, and kind of speaking my language right now, in all honesty, it is the maintaining the momentum through the end of the year. I feel like this time of year, we have a lot of agents, they stop showing up, they're on vacation, they're celebrating the upcoming holidays. But, you know, thinking about kind of that 30, 60, 90 days out, what is your business going to look like? Do you want to go into the beginning of the year, working your tail off to kind of get your leads moving, or could you be right now reaching out, loving on your people, showing them appreciation, coming from a place of giving, it's Thanksgiving coming up. What better excuse to reach out to your database and find a reason to just thank them for whatever, or share with them, hey, I just want to be a resource. If you need anything real estate related, would you please let me know? I also heard somebody was scheduling strategy sessions. Like, do you have plans next year for real estate? Could we get together for a strategy session? And I thought, oh my gosh, where are these geniuses coming from? Strategy session. Just schedule a strategy session to understand whatever their needs are. Right? A time to sit and meet for coffee. Can I take you out for coffee? I'm thankful and I want to give back something to the sort. But great timing, no better time than now. And why not
Yeah.
spearhead yourself for next year so that you're on track to have some deals? Um,
Yeah, and I'll echo this. I was talking with one of our agents, who's he wants to kind of just like lay low during Thanksgiving. I'm like, why? The day after Thanksgiving is the number one amount. It's the highest number of hits you will ever get on online listings, online searches, lead generation, all of that. It is the day after Thanksgiving is the highest. Zillow, Realtor.com, I mean, whichever source you talk to, they all report that that is the highest number of uses. So people are looking around this time of year, and we want to make sure that they think of you, they see you. I mean, they keep running into you, that sort of thing, and it'll prompt some sort of action from them. Yeah, and the
The
same
people
for
are at
listings.
home, right? They're
What was
spending
that?
time. Yeah, I don't mean to cut you off. They're at home, they're with their families, they're sitting around, they have a little time off. And so it is prime time to be able to, oh, I'm just happen to be here when you're looking.
Yeah.
That's strategy on your part as a real estate agent. That's when you want to connect with them. People are busy. We're all busy, but
Yeah.
it's a perfect time to be reaching out, I think.
Yeah, it's a good time for listings. I always tell people that this is a great time to put a listing on the market because historically, real estate agents, the firms basically will usually see a slight uptick in December too. So people will start to make some moves in November and then move on close before the end of the year. So, um, you know, capitalize on that. Why not? Right? Let's make some moves and get in front of people, so that way they can think of you when the time is right.
I can
Yeah,
vouch for
and
that.
holiday.
We closed on December 31st on the house we're in now. It was like 8 years ago, but we were crazy and
Yeah,
did that too.
I did too. I got my house under contract that I live in now, the day after Thanksgiving too. I mean, this is the time of year when people start thinking about house and home and things like that. So, um, with the end of the year, I mean, people are start thinking about the investors are trying to clear inventory. I mean, people will want to make some changes. So be the one that answers the phone.
Deals.
I think around this time of year, a lot of people go on vacations, and this is when we actually get a lot of referrals from out of state as well because of the high number of search volumes. So pick up the phone. If you have an unknown number, pick it up. Even if you think it might be a spam, it doesn't matter. You'd be surprised because there's people like me that are sending someone out to Texas or North Carolina, and I need someone I'm literally giving the lead to the first person who answers the phone. So pick up your phone. That type of the simple type of tactics will help you generate some business as we go into the new year. Any other ideas from the group before we kind of like let you guys all loose? Any things that are working for you guys?
Feedback.
I would say, just to reiterate, is that now is not the time to hibernate. Now is the time to take your unfair share of the market. Because when spring comes, when the new year passes and everybody's done eating their Christmas cake, they will all be out there starting to work. It's the time to connect and time to be grateful. And it doesn't have to look like how Candace does it or how I do it or how Shannon does it. Just do it ugly and make your list and just reach out and connect with as many people as you can.
Yeah.
Do it ugly.
Yeah, she goes, great time for community events, client appreciation events. I've had, I think, 2 or 3 agents reach out to me. They want to use our offices for Santa pictures, for one of them's doing family photos. They're like, we're just going to sponsor it and we'll have, some sort of client appreciation thing. Let us know if you guys want to do stuff like that. We can reserve rooms and things like that for you. That's why we have spaces as well. It gets you in front of people. You can have some swag on the table, and even if it's not a direct correlation into real estate, it does prompt a conversation if you're running something yourself like that.
It's about community.
Yeah, I've got some people, they don't do Christmas cards. That's fine. Happy New Year. We had one of our top producers in years past. She never did Christmas cards. She always did Happy New Year cards. Because she knew nobody was doing stuff like that in January. So think outside the box, get creative, get yourself in front of people, all the mediums. I would echo Lindsey in that regard. It's like email is free in many respects. Social media can be free. Mail pieces are coming, they're having a resurgence right now for sure. Traditional marketing is back. So think about those types of things as well.
Yeah, the social media piece that you mentioned, I know that it's about consistency, right? And building momentum in social media as well to get your reach out there. So if now you're posting on a consistent basis, or if you aren't, start. But if we can build that over the next month, like, hey, I'm going to do it. A lot of people do a gratitude post a day in November. That's I've heard of that. Something that you can be grateful for and get it out there. You then are building that social media momentum. And when they're sitting around at the holidays, they're going to see you.
Yeah, for sure.
Agreed.
So here's
Agreed.
on the screen here, I put Lindsey's information. So if you guys want to get in touch with her, I know that she would be happy to meet with you guys or help you with some of your inspection related types of challenges and whatnot. Go ahead and take a screenshot. Her information's here. And then, let us know if you need some help. Candace, me, Virginia, Rochelle, all of us are here to help you navigate some of the challenges that we're having right now. It's all about problem solving right now is what I would tell you. With what Candace I know has been on the phone, Virginia's been on the phone. It's all about problem solving. So let us know what we can do. And, sometimes having an extra set of eyes or, thought process on things can be all the difference. So good luck this week. Hopefully we guys can see you at some of our trainings. It's certainly the listings event. I'm very excited for that. So get your tickets. And then if not, I guess we will catch you guys this next Monday. Thank you so much, Lindsey. I sure appreciate you joining us tonight.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you, Lindsey.
Thank you, Lindsey.